Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Scott Beadle with Big Fox News. The Chemung County Health Department says an international traveler from Europe who has been confirmed to have a case of measles visited a restaurant in our area. The contagious traveler visited Old Country Buffet on County Route 64 in Elmira on April 30th between 1 and 4 p.m. Measles is a highly contagious virus spread by direct contact with nasal or throat secretions from infected people. Those born before 1957 who received 2 doses of the measles vaccine or who have been lab confirmed as immune to measles are considered protected. But those who visited the restaurant on that same day and have not received the vaccine are considered at risk of developing measles.
One thing to be on the lookout is a rash, but also fever, cough, pink eye, runny nose. Typically, you'll see these symptoms 10, maybe 12 days after exposure, but they can appear as early as 7 days, but as late as 21 days after exposure. We also asked that the people that, who were at Old Country Buffet on the 30th between 1 and 4, that they keep an eye out for those symptoms. And if they do come across those symptoms, to contact their doctor immediately. The other thing that I would caution is if anybody does have those symptoms and they want to seek medical treatment, call first. Even if the primary care, urgent care, emergency room, call first. The last thing we want is a sick person in a setting that can infect a lot of people quickly.
If you visited Old Country Buffet on April 30th after 1 p.m. and have not had a measles vaccine, call the Chemung County Health Department. Today, U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand visited Elmira to push for the expansion of the National Registry designation. In 2017, Senator Gillibrand secured a $16 million increase in federal funding for historical preservation, increasing the level of funding for the program to $97 million. Today, Gillibrand stood with local officials to call on the National Park Service to approve the boundary expansion of the Elmira Civic Historic District. Gillibrand recently wrote a bipartisan letter to the Senate Appropriations Committee requesting additional funding for state historic preservation offices for the 2018 fiscal year.
So the people who are just up here have really focused on redeveloping some of the historic places in Elmira, and they noted that the historic designation that we have today isn't big enough to encompass some of the buildings they'd love to renovate, and so they want to make sure this designation can be larger so their buildings are eligible for the same deductions. So it just depends on how much Elmira wants to do. They have to apply for those tax credits. If we make this region larger, so there are more buildings that are eligible, then depending on the willingness of the city as well as developers to do these projects, will determine how much money they can get.
Elmira Mayor Daniel Mandel thanked Gillibrand, saying, quote, "Elmira has a rich history that is reflected in our historic buildings, and we are proud of that history." The National Historic Preservation Act of 1966 requires that all states have a state historic preservation office to preserve important sites. And many of New York State's parks and historic sites are getting an upgrade. Governor Andrew Cuomo says $90 million will be spent to improve nearly 50 state properties, with the funding included in the 2018-19 budget, which was passed by the legislature 5 weeks ago. The ongoing projects are part of the state's NY Parks 2020 plan. So far, it's made more than $700 million in improvements at more than 170 state parks and historic sites since its launch back in 2011. The projects range from installing new playgrounds to building or repairing hundreds of cabins and cottages at state parks. We got off to a bit of a cool start for our work week. Chief Meteorologist Chris Summers has the rest of the week's Big Fox forecast next.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
And welcome back, everyone. Here's what we expect to see weather-wise across our area here the next couple of days. A little sunshine, a little cloud cover coming in for your Tuesday. May see an isolated shower in the afternoon. Those will be very widely scattered. Looks like a beautiful day on Wednesday, nice and warm, partly to mostly sunny skies. Looking like a better chance of rain coming in as we head into the day on our Thursday. Here's what it looks like on our surface map. Yeah, a little isolated shower activity basically to our south through parts of northern Pennsylvania. That may actually get into our area by the afternoon hours. High pressure bringing some milder temperatures back as we head into the afternoon hours of our Tuesday. And it looks like the warm weather really comes back as we get to Wednesday. Here's your 7-day forecast. 78 degrees, the high temperature for your Wednesday. 74 degrees on Thursday. Scattered showers out there by Thursday afternoon. 65 by Friday. And looking like temperatures actually stay in the upper 70s as we head into Saturday and Sunday, with more chance to rain in the forecast too by early next week.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.